You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This episode is supported by Black Hat USA. If you follow the research, you know a lot of it breaks on Black Hat stages. Hundreds of peer-reviewed briefings, more than 100 hands-on trainings, and the largest business hall in Black Hat's history. 6 days to learn the skills you'll need tomorrow, August 1st through the 6th. Use code CYBERWIRE for $200 off your briefings pass at blackhat.com. We'll see you in Vegas. Nightmare Eclipse drops another Windows 0 day. The gentlemen take the ransomware crown. CISA orders emergency Fortinet patching. Canada's surveillance bill faces U.S. scrutiny. Meta's Oversight Board flags AI censorship bias. Commerce tops the cyber target list. An active espionage campaign hits Bangladesh's military. The Hewlett Foundation commits $100 million to emerging tech security. U.S. prosecutors dismantle an alleged cyber-enabled money laundering network. Our guest is Nick Stohlman, Vice President of CJIS Strategy at Imprivata, talking about CJIS readiness and the identity security challenges facing public safety agencies. And leaked source code reveals an AI mixtape. It's Friday, July 17th, 2026. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. It's great, as always, to have you with us. Happy Friday. A security researcher using the handle Nightmare Eclipse has released Legacy Hive, a proof-of-concept zero-day exploit that targets the Windows User Profile Service and enables privilege escalation on fully patched Windows systems. The vulnerability has not yet been assigned a CVE. Unlike the researcher's earlier releases, this proof-of-concept has been deliberately limited, requiring additional user credentials to reduce the risk of widespread abuse. Testing by security researchers Will Dorman and Kevin Beaumont confirmed the exploit works. Dorman said it could let a standard user modify an administrator's registry Hive, potentially enabling code execution when the administrator logs in, while Beaumont published Microsoft Defender for endpoint detection queries. Legacy Hive is the latest in a series of Windows zero-day disclosures from Nightmare Eclipse, whose previous releases have prompted Microsoft patches and public legal warnings. The ransomware landscape is shifting, with the Gentlemen emerging as the most active cyber extortion group between March and May of this year, according to ReliaQuest. Researchers tracked 300 claimed victims linked to the group, surpassing Keelan, which recorded 289 incidents after leading ransomware activity throughout the previous year. Across 11 major ransomware operations, ReliaQuest identified 1,368 victim claims spanning 99 countries. The report attributes the Gentlemen's rapid rise to aggressive affiliate recruitment, AI-assisted malware development, and a well-packaged ransomware-as-a-service toolkit that lowers the barrier for new operators. The toolkit includes detailed attack playbooks and pre-configured intrusion tools that help affiliates launch attacks more efficiently. ReliaQuest expects the group's momentum to continue and recommends organizations strengthen remote access controls, harden identity protections, enforce Microsoft's vulnerable driver block list, and monitor suspicious network activity. CISA has ordered federal agencies to urgently patch 2 actively exploited critical vulnerabilities in Fortinet FortiSandbox. The flaws, patched by Fortinet in April and June, allow unauthenticated remote code execution through command injection attacks that require no user interaction. Although Fortinet has not confirmed exploitation, threat intelligence firm Diffused reported attacks in June, and CISA has now added both vulnerabilities to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. Federal agencies must apply patches by July 19th. Senator Ron Wyden is urging Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to oppose Canada's proposed Lawful Access Act, warning it could threaten U.S. national security and the privacy of American citizens. In a letter, Wyden argued the legislation could compel U.S. technology companies to secretly assist Canadian surveillance by retaining user metadata, creating backdoors, and modifying systems to facilitate lawful access requests. The bill has passed Canada's House of Commons and is awaiting Senate approval. Wyden called for a review of whether the proposal could force companies like Apple and Google to disclose Americans' data, and recommended using ongoing U.S.-Canada Cloud Act negotiations to prohibit such requirements. Canada's Citizen Lab has also raised constitutional concerns about elements of the legislation. A study by Meta's independent Oversight Board found that leading AI models, including those from OpenAI and Anthropic, are significantly less likely to generate politically critical content about governments with restrictive speech laws than about more permissive countries. Across 10 models, researchers found refusals occurred 34% of the time for restrictive jurisdictions, compared with 14% for permissive ones. The board warned this could introduce bias into widely used AI systems and called for greater transparency in AI training, evaluation, and human rights assessments. Akamai's latest State of the Internet report says commerce has become the world's most targeted industry for cyber attacks as AI-powered shopping agents and autonomous tools reshape online retail. By the end of 2025, AI bots accounted for nearly 48% of all commerce traffic on Akamai's network, with AI training crawlers making up the majority. The report warns that attackers are increasingly exploiting AI through agent hijacking, synthetic identity fraud, and API attacks, while Layer 7 distributed denial-of-service attacks continue to surge, particularly against retailers. Akamai also found widespread gaps in API visibility, with most organizations unable to identify sensitive data exposure. Meanwhile, phishing and malware activity have risen sharply, fueling account takeovers and loyalty fraud as attackers industrialize cybercrime against digital commerce platforms. Researchers at Cyderis Howler Cell uncovered an active cyber espionage campaign targeting Bangladesh's military and defense sector and attributed it with high confidence to Do Not, also known as APT-C35. The operation begins with a spearphishing RTF document disguised as the biography of a Bangladesh Air Force officer. The document uses remote template injection to retrieve a malicious macro, with server-side geofencing limiting delivery to intended regional targets. The malware executes through multiple encrypted stages before installing a DLL that establishes persistence, profiles the infected system, and communicates with command and control servers over encrypted HTTPS. By interacting directly with the C2 infrastructure, researchers retrieved a live second-stage payload, confirming the campaign remains active. Matching encryption keys, infrastructure, and communication patterns further strengthen the attribution to Do Not and indicate an ongoing intelligence-gathering operation targeting South Asian government and military organizations. The William and Flora Hewlett Foundation has launched a $100 million emerging technology and security initiative to fund research and policy efforts through 2031, focused on the safe development of artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and quantum computing. Announced at the Aspen Security Forum, the initiative will support universities, think tanks, and civil society organizations working to protect critical infrastructure, address emerging technology risks, and strengthen global governance. Building on earlier exploratory grants, the program aims to promote practical, evidence-based solutions that balance innovation with security through collaboration across government, industry, and independent organizations. On a personal note, our own Research Saturday program was initially made possible by a Hewlett Foundation grant. U.S. prosecutors have charged Zhuoying Shen and Huazhe Zhang, two New York residents, with operating a large-scale money laundering network that allegedly moved at least $43 million in proceeds from cyber-enabled investment fraud scams between 2020 and 2022. According to the indictment, the pair managed a network of more than a dozen associates who used approximately 140 bank accounts tied to 45 shell companies to transfer stolen funds to China. The underlying scams involved criminals building trust with victims through social media and messaging platforms before convincing them to invest in fake opportunities. If convicted of conspiracy to commit money laundering, the defendants face up to 20 years in prison. The case highlights the continued growth of investment fraud, which the FBI says caused $8.6 billion in reported losses in 2025. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Nick Stohlman from Imprivata. We're talking about CJIS readiness and the identity security challenges facing public safety agencies. And leaked source code reveals an AI mixtape. Stay with us.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by Workday. Guessing is for game shows, not your business, especially when your margin for error is zero. Workday is the enterprise AI platform for HR, finance, and IT, with a deep understanding of your organization's context and guardrails. So every AI action is permission aware, giving you accuracy 24/7 and the ability to not just get work done, but get it done right. It's a new Workday.
You mind if we make one more stop before heading back? I need to run a Target.
100%. Let's RTT. You thinking of stuff for the dorm?
Yeah, my mom gave me some good tips on must-have essentials. We for sure need underbed storage, handheld iron for wrinkles, maybe even a mini Keurig for Mondays. Am I right?
All right, bet. Because I was already thinking about keeping my clothes looking fresh at college, so you better be sharing that.
Of course, man. Whatever I get on this run is yours too.
Twin.
But for real, let's go before they close.
Find everything you need for college at Target.
Organizations spend years building incident response plans, but when a real crisis hits, many discover those plans were built for auditors, not for operating through disruption. We recently spoke with Courtney Gus, Crisis Management Director at Sempris, about why true cyber resilience depends on more than compliance. She explains why organizations need to move beyond static playbooks, establish clear decision-making authority, and prepare leaders for the moments when technology and the plan itself may fail. If you're responsible for incident response, business continuity, or cyber resilience, this is a conversation you won't want to miss. Listen to the full interview at explore.thecyberwire.com/Sempris. Nick Stohlman is Vice President of CJIS Strategy at Imprivata. We recently sat down to talk about CJIS readiness and the identity security challenges facing public safety agencies.
We really wanted to get a temperature of the water where agencies were with their CJIS compliancy journey. In October of 2024, the FBI released a document of 400 pages or more of requirements to meet compliancy. And we wanted to find out how many people had started that process and started on their journey to find out, what's the real lay of the land out there. And so we decided let's do a survey and ask agencies from multiple sizes, multiple types, and see where they're at when it comes to CJIS compliancy.
So CJIS stands for Criminal Justice Information Services. For folks who may not be familiar with that, what does it mean and why does compliance here matter?
So CJIS is actually part of the FBI out of West Virginia. They employ about 3,000 different people within that section of the FBI. And their main focus is to provide and to secure access to criminal justice information databases that public safety agencies use on a daily basis. NCIC, inlets, and so forth, running your criminal history, running a driver's license through DMV, through NCIC, finding out if there's any warrants on an individual or a piece of property. So all the databases that public safety access, we need to protect. And the FBI's focus is to make sure those databases are being accessed properly by the right personnel, those that have rights, and that the compliance is handled in a professional manner and that we're meeting those requirements that the FBI has put out.
So what are some of the challenges that public safety agencies face here to meet that compliance?
Yeah, it comes down to cost and bandwidth a lot of the time. I was a former undersheriff at a sheriff's office, and I started my career as a drug enforcement agent, and I always had to deal with CJIS compliancy as well as an end user. But from a department standpoint, there's cost to be compliant. You have to buy the right tools, multi-factor authentication tools, software, and then you have to put those into practice. You have to implement them, and then you have to train, and you have to have those end users, which is everybody at the department, making sure that they're obviously accessing the systems properly and that they're conducting themselves in a compliant manner. One of the things that really does come down to, it's not necessarily that agencies don't understand the priority of this and the necessity and need. It's finding the funding to buy the right software, the right technology, and then the training and so forth. And it's compliancy, CJIS compliancy is not a one fix all. You buy a product and it fixes it. It's an everyday practice, and it's really an agency's responsibility. It's not an IT problem. It's an agency problem. And you're only as strong and only as compliant as your weakest user. So it really takes consistent training, consistent upkeep of the system you're using. And so obviously there's a cost with that. And, it has to be prioritized. And when you've got to, look for fuel money for your patrol cars or buy some software, you have to pick the priority there.
Right. Now, it's my understanding that the Department of Homeland Security has a proposed framework here. Is it Anchor CL? Is that correct?
That's correct. They do have an initiative out there that they're working on, which is going to be able. It's kind of like setting the guidelines and making it easier. And obviously, when Homeland Security gets involved, you'll find that they also are a big provider of grant funding, right? So that obviously can solve twofold. It can get compliancy in a more structured manner, but it also can provide a path to financing to be able to afford that.
For the public safety folks in our audience, what are your recommendations? Like, what are the steps that you would suggest for folks to strengthen their identity security without trying to solve everything all at once?
Coming from running an agency, I would approach it like I do everything within the agency's jurisdiction and scope, right? And it's a mission. And when you have a mission, you get the right personnel involved. I would formulate a team from command staff, end users, power users, and IT staff. And I'd evaluate our workflows and what do we really need to be compliant? Where's our weakest points? Is it password? Is it, these shared devices? Where are we weak? What workflows are causing us the opportunity to fall into the non-practice of compliancy and become a victim? Just because you're a public safety agency doesn't mean you can't become a victim as well, right? So I would put a team together and make it a focus, put a timeline to it, and I would advise them start researching what other agencies are doing, make contact with the FBI. The FBI is their friend and their partner in CJIS compliancy. Ask for guidance from them, their state agency. Here in North Carolina, I would contact the SBI, State Bureau of Investigations, and get their input on compliancy and formulate a plan and look for a good partner, not a vendor. I'd look for a partner. Again, I mentioned earlier that compliancy is an ongoing everyday practice. So you need a partner. You're not buying something. It's not a transactional sale. It's a commitment. It's a journey, and you want to find a partner that's staying ahead of the game and is connected with the bureau and connected with the state agencies and understands the market, understands the need and the pain points, and understands where the FBI is going with future compliancy concerns. Every time technology changes, for example, when we went from on-premise systems to cloud systems, that caused more compliancy concerns on how you access the cloud system. And now today we're dealing with AI, right? You hear AI through any type of vertical, any market out there. Well, it's obviously very strong and prevalent in public safety as well. So that creates new compliancy concerns. So you need to find a partner that understands that and is not just trying to sell you a piece of product or a piece of software that's going to solve multi-factor authentication. That's where it starts, but it goes much further than that.
It sounds to me, the way you're describing it, like there is a good amount of collaboration out there among the people who are using these tools. Is there a sense of collegiality out there among those folks?
I think so. I think this is always, back historically, has always been on the shoulders of IT. And I think now, because the true weakness is usually through our own end users, it can't be all on IT. So you're starting to see that group of that formation of teamwork, and not just within the agency, other agencies, and also other partners and vendors, and also collaborating with the FBI. The FBI, again, their job, they're trying to do the job and make you successful as well, and make sure that you're compliant and that you don't put your agency at risk and the citizens you serve at risk. So it takes teamwork, it takes collaboration, and it takes an understanding that we're all in this for the same mission. We want to protect those CJI databases. We want to protect the citizens, and we want to make sure the folks are out there serving them get home at night. And there's a lot of ways that can happen where they could not get home at night if you're not practicing CJIS compliancy.
That's Nick Stohlman from Imprivata.
This summer, soccer is here, and so are the watch parties. And Uber Eats has your game day essentials covered. Everything you need to keep your crowd happy, delivered straight to your door. Get wings, pizza, chips, dips, fresh ingredients, and more. Keep the soccer going and all your game day essentials flowing. Order in so you can lock in for the games. Only on Uber Eats for a limited time.
What's the one thing in business that's spreading as fast as AI? AI risk. Every new tool your team signs up for, every vendor that turns on AI features, every new integration, each one is another opportunity for something to go wrong. And most security programs weren't built to keep up with AI's pace of growth. Enter Vanta. Vanta is the #1 agentic trust platform, trusted by more than 16,000 fast-moving companies like Ramp, Cursor, and Harvey to help them stay audit-ready. And now, Vanta helps companies like yours keep an eye on the risks that appear between audits across your vendors, your AI tools, and your entire environment. The Vanta agent works like a 24/7 GRC engineer in the background. It finds issues, drafts fixes for you, and can cut vendor assessment time by up to 50%. Whether you're a fast-growing startup or a global enterprise, Vanta is here to help you automate your security and compliance and earn and prove trust. Get started today at vanta.com/cyber. That's VANTA.com/cyber.
Stitch Fix. Stop shopping. Get styled.
Not today, sweatpants. Somebody's wearing jeans that fit.
Wow! No photos, please. I'm just a regular dad who happens to have a stylist.
I really look my best when someone else makes the decisions.
Hey,
We can all see you two-way mirrors.
Just share your size, style, and budget, and your stylist sends personalized looks right to your door. Stitch Fix. Get started today at StitchFix.com.
I want to hug you. I'm going to hug you. I'm coming in for a hug.
And finally, a hacker has pulled back the curtain on how AI music company Suno built its models, revealing source code that allegedly shows the platform scraped millions of songs, lyrics, podcasts, and stock audio from services including YouTube Music, Deezer, Genius, Pond5, and Jamendo. The leaked code appears to detail massive training datasets, automated scraping tools, and techniques for finding vocal tracks, while also suggesting the use of proxy infrastructure to collect content at scale. The breach reportedly exposed customer contact information and limited Stripe payment data, though Suno says the incident involved outdated code, was quickly contained, and did not compromise full payment card numbers. The revelations add weight to ongoing copyright lawsuits accusing Suno of training on copyrighted music. It's a reminder that, in AI, today's training playlist can become tomorrow's courtroom exhibit. And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. Be sure to check out this weekend's Research Saturday and my conversation with Lauren Fiveson, senior threat researcher at Silent Push. The research is titled Meet Drive Surge, a new threat actor using click fix and fake update drive-by attacks in thousands of compromised sites. That's Research Saturday. Check it out.
And hello, Maria Varmaz is here. On Sunday's T-Minus Space Cyber Briefing, we're diving into Europe's push for space sovereignty. From data laws to independent launch and secure communications, T-Minus producer Ethan Cook and I have a conversation on why and how Europe is urgently pursuing space sovereignty. That is on Sunday on T-Minus. See you then.
We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. N2K's lead producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Trey Hester with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our contributing host is Maria Vermazis. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here next week. Heading to this year's Black Hat USA, the N2K CyberWire team will be on site recording from our podcast studio in the Spectre Ops Kennel Club. If you're interested in joining us for a conversation or learning more about what we're recording throughout the week, visit sponsor.thecyberwire.com for more information. And make sure you stop by the studio and meet the N2K CyberWire team. We'll see you there.